Good morning. I think it's recording. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone had a great Monday and Tuesday. So today I want to talk about how the universe supports you. And I want to talk about the number 27 that I see every day, multiple times a day. Sometimes we have reoccurring events, things that happen. Sometimes some people see the number 1, the number 11, 111, 1111, 222, 3334, so on and so forth. And these mean something, and sometimes we don't always know what they mean. Now, you can Google it and see what these things mean, but that doesn't stop. Once you find out what they mean, once you find out or look up what something means, that doesn't mean that it stops. It continues to happen over and over and over again. And this is the support that you get from the universe. And the thing is, we are supported. When we say we're supported by the universe, what that means is that people will come and support us. People will come and give us signs. People will do things and make things. I wouldn't say make things happen, but they come into play and assist things with happening. That's how the universe supports us. It supports us through people. It supports us through animals. It supports us through all things. And so, oh my God, really, Zachary? I'm not even going to say what I just noticed right now, but whatever. So, I thought I was a little ahead of schedule today, but okay, I will say. So I totally forgot to shave. Like, I'm sitting here like rubbing my face. I'm like, wait a minute, something feels off. Anyway, there we go. Forgot to shave. Anyway, so the universe supports us all the time, and it does this in a manner where we will experience certain things. And so certain things that I experience, or a certain something or thing that I experience, is the number 27. I see it all the time. 27 is also the day of my birth, so I was born on the 27th. 27, 7 and the 2 also add up to the number 9, which is my life path number. So there's this recurring number is just presenting itself all the time. It doesn't matter if I'm driving along and I see a 27 on a license plate, or I see
there's a disabled vehicle ahead,
or I see a 27 on a building. I could see it on TV, in a movie, on a TV show. This 27 just continually pops up. I see it on the clock all the time. As soon as it's like, say, 2:27, my head will turn. I'm not even wanting to look at the time. My eyes just look up, or my head turns, and it's right there. And this is something that happens all the time. And now we try to find the meanings of this, but at the very least, understand that the universe is supporting you. Meaning, there's a reason why you're seeing it all the time, but it is just to let you know that the universe is supporting you. Now, I'm not saying that's all that it means, because it means a lot of things. When I started seeing 27, it was before I looked up the meaning of it. It was before I looked up the meaning of my life path number. It was the meaning before whatever happened. Like, it was already in motion. And this is how the universe is supporting us, but it does it before we're even aware of it. When we become aware of it, it's like, wow, okay, but that's the whole point. That's the whole reason why the universe has been doing these little things to us, having us experience these little experiences to let us know that the universe is supporting us. Before we even knew it, it was happening. When certain people come into your life, I need to turn some air on, 1 second. Before people even come into your life, before we're even aware of the types of people that come into our lives, they're already coming into our lives. And these are the signs, these are the things that the universe is delivering to us. And understand that when we really say that, it's like, okay, we are supporting ourselves. We are supporting ourselves. Meaning, what dwells within our soul happens to us. When we desire support, we get the support. So we are experiencing ourselves. That's really what's happening. And it's kind of hard for some people to accept this or to understand this. But It's really what's happening. When we desire to let's say we desire loving or unloving, that's why we have the free will choice to have any experience that we desire. Whether it's loving or unloving, if we desire it, it comes to fruition, it comes to manifest for us so that we can have that experience, that desire that we have. That's the purpose of being here, is to experience, just to have an experience, but we dictate that experience. So if you want to meet a man, or you might want to meet a woman, and it's a strong desire, guess what? You're gonna meet it. You're gonna meet the man, you're gonna meet the woman. If you want to meet a certain type of man, if you want to meet a certain type of woman, you have the desire, guess what? You're gonna meet it. You're gonna get it. You're gonna experience it because you are dictating your experiences. If you have hate, and you hate someone, guess what's gonna come to you? The same thing, because you desire it. This is why you should never, ever, ever desire ill will towards another person, because that which you will for another, you will for yourself. It is really difficult to will something for someone else unless you use your willpower to do it. When you take matters into your own hands, literally into your own hands, and you make something happen so that someone else can have a bad experience, you are circumventing the universe and allowing, but yet at the same time, you are part of that other person's law of attraction. Look, we're always a cooperative component. It cannot be one way or another, because many things are at play at the same time. You can't say, oh, well, the universe is in charge, or I'm in charge, because there's a lot of things that are in play. You as a soul are in charge. The other soul is in charge, and therefore both of you are in charge of the experiences that take place. There is nothing outside of you that is going to make something happen unless you will it or desire it. And it can't happen. A dog is not going to be able to desire you to do something, but you can desire to do something to the dog. If you're in alignment with the desire, then that's going to happen. But it cannot. Okay, let me back up a little bit. So, if you are not a cooperative component to something, you cannot be part of that. Does that make sense? If you are not a cooperative component to wealth, you are not going to incur wealth. You're not going to experience wealth. You may make things happen with your willpower, but if that is not part of your core, that is not part of your soul, it will be taken away. In some way, shape, or form, it will either be taken away, or you will not be able to use it or enjoy it, whatever. That's how the universe works. Whatever is in your core will ultimately be the final dictating factor. Always, your soul. So yes, you can climb the ladder all the way up to the top, but if that which dwells within your soul is not loving to sustain that which you've attained, or if you've attained it in an unloving way, understand it is in jeopardy. All things done outside of love is in jeopardy. Of being lost, of being removed, taken away, or not able to be experienced. There's a lot of people who have a lot of money. A couple of videos ago, I mentioned Kevin Hart, who's not able to experience his money like he was before. And that was this accident, this car accident that he was in, which was no accident at all. That was his karma just being played out. That's all that was. But since that happened, now he's not able to enjoy that which he has achieved. And there's a reason for that. He tried to, and many people do this, they've tried to make a life that is different than their soul condition supports. Now he's experiencing pain and suffering. He can't go and do the things that he used to do, the things that he wants to do, because he's having to recover. And from this accident, which was no accident at all, he's actually recovering from his soul condition, the events of his soul condition, the events from his soul condition. That's what he's doing right now, and a lot of people do that. Everyday life is an experience of your soul condition. You know, some people, they make more money, more money, more money, more money, but their problems increase. They intensify. The pain and suffering intensify. The frustration, the annoyance, the anger, the rage, the lack of control, it intensifies. Just because you have more money doesn't mean it's not like the new age people, oh, you have more abundance, more abundance, more abundance. Yeah, you're getting free lattes and all these other different things, but yet you have cancer. Explain that one. Where's the love and light in that? We have to look at what's really going on. We have to look at what our soul is really producing for us. We have to look at what our experiences really are. But the universe is always supporting us by the cancer, supporting us by the free lattes, by the free this, by the free that. Some people get free things all the time, but they have ailments that they're dealing with, but they're not focusing, or I shouldn't say they're not focusing, but they're not really paying attention to what their whole experience is. We can't just look at what we want to look at. We have to look at the things that we need to look at, and the things that we need to look at are the things that we are currently experiencing. We must do this if we're going to improve, but understand, only if we want to improve. Looking at what's really happening as a whole is something that needs to be done only if we want to change the experiences that we're having. If you don't want to change those experiences, if you don't want to have a different way of living, a different experience in life, then don't change. And let me tell you, most people aren't. Most people don't even know that they should. No, most people don't even know that they could change things that are happening in their lives. Most people don't. They think life is just how it's been, how it has been for others. And the thing is, when you look at that, you're screwed. Because what you're doing is looking at all the ignorant people who haven't figured this shit out, and they're just having reoccurring experiences generation after generation after generation after generation after generation after generation, and your kids are going to be no different than you. Grandparents or great-grandparents or great-great, and sometimes it gets even worse. Sometimes it cleans up because people notice things, but it's rare for people to learn things and release it so it stops happening. Some people can understand what's going on. Like, I understand a lot of things that are going on with myself and with others. Let's just focus on myself. I understand why certain things are going on. I understand why certain events are happening. But that doesn't stop it from happening. The only thing that stops it from happening is how you feel within your soul. What do you hold within your soul? What kind of pain do you have within your soul? What kind of anger do you have within your soul? What kind of rage do you have within your soul? What kind of thoughts do you have within your soul? What kind of emotions do you have within your soul? Because these are the things that continue to sustain your experiences as they have been thus far. It's not enough to know. It's not enough to know. You have to do more than that. You have to release, get rid of, expel, however you want to say it, that which dwells within your soul that is not of love. Meaning darkness, degradation, evil, if you want to put it that way, badness, however you want to say it. It's just unloving things that are within your soul. Emotions and feelings, thoughts in your mind. And this is from your childhood. So just like when you experience something in your childhood that was painful and hurtful, it's still there if you didn't release it. It's still there. Which is why you're continually experiencing the same type of emotions and feelings from various experiences. So if you felt abandoned as a child, you're going to continue to feel abandoned by people you interact with. It's not going to go away until you release the pain from feeling that abandonment. You're going to continue to have more experiences, to have more abandonment. You're going to feel that, you're going to store it, you're not going to release it. You're not going to like the feeling, but you're not going to release it, so it stays there. Not only does it stay there, it's compounded upon the already degraded feeling of abandonment that dwelled within you from a child. So now you're just stacking layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. And every single time it happens is a layer stacked on top of the other. Like pancakes. One layer after the other layer. One layer after the other layer. That's how emotional injuries work. This is why it takes people so long, and most people are confused. They're like, I cried already. I let it out. Yeah, you let out a layer, but there's many layers. Because that which dwells within your soul from a child is going to continue to happen. And you have to look at how many times it's happened. How many times have you dated someone and they split up with you, they left you, they were cheating on you, they decided that you weren't the person that they wanted to be with. All these abandonment issues. How many friends have you had? How many friendships have you had where people have abandoned you, where people have turned their back on you, where you felt like you were going to be supported and you weren't supported? How many times has that happened? How many times has your parents said they're going to do something and they didn't do it, and they abandoned you? They said they were going to do this, they said you were going to get this, and they lied. Or, they just flat out lied, or they couldn't do it, or they made promises that they couldn't keep. How many times did you feel like you weren't supported? How many times did you feel like you were abandoned? How many times did you feel like no one cared? How many times did you feel like God wasn't there, God doesn't care, God hates you, God doesn't love you? How many times? Because all these times are layers, just like pancakes. And if you really look back on your life, you'll see that you have a mountain of pancakes. So one cry, a weekend of crying, is not going to erase all of those stacks. It may erase a layer, but there's many layers, because for some of you, you've lived a long time. And for some of you, you were disappointed every day. Every day. How many times did your mother go off somewhere or father go off somewhere and you were raised by a single parent and you were waiting for mom or dad to come home? How many of you were out there raised by your grandparents because your parents abandoned you? And every day you're waiting, and every day you're waiting, and every day you're disappointed, and every day you wake up. Every day you wake up, every day you wait, every day you wake up, every day you wait, every day you wake up, every day you wait, and every day comes a moment of disappointment. That's a stack. That's a stack. That's a stack. Or I should say, that's a layer. That's a layer. That's a layer. That's a layer. And it continues like this for the rest of your life. How many times have you wanted a different position at work and you didn't get it? How many times have you worked hard to prove yourself and you were overlooked? Every day, overlooked, overlooked, overlooked. Every day, someone else recognized for their hard work, but you weren't. How many times have you wanted a promotion and you felt you can do it, but you were never recognized? Stack, layer, stack, layer. It builds up, it builds up, it builds up. And there's so many different stacks because there's so many different feelings and so many different layers. So many. So no, you cannot cry one time and think all is going to be done. This isn't a Dr. Seuss book. It's not make-believe. It's real life. And this is how it works. And whether you believe it or not, it's the way it works. The universe is designed in a way where your opinion, your perception is irrelevant. How its structure is relevant. That's the only thing that matters, because that's the only thing that's happening. The universe is happening in a way. The universe is happening in a way that the Creator created it to operate. It's not going to operate any differently because you didn't create it. Only that which you create you can control. And it best be in love, because if it's not in love, you have no control over anything, because it's still governed by the universe. And the universe is I don't want to say it's governed by love, but it is governed by love. It is made in love. So all things that we do, that we create, understand this is God's playground. This is not our playground. This is God's playground. We may play in it, but God created it. And God set the rules. The Creator set the rules. Allah, however you want to call it, Jehovah, it doesn't matter what name you pick for it. It doesn't matter. As I said a moment ago, your perception, your opinion, your perspective is irrelevant. So what you call it, what you believe it to be, it's all irrelevant. You can either get on board with the truth is what really is, or not. It's up to you. And you have every right to believe what you want to believe, have a perception that you want to have. It's all your choice. But my point is, you can't change the way that the universe operates. If you do something unloving, and this is a loving universe, it will be exposed. Why? Because that's the universe's mandate, to expose all things that are dark, to bring light to all things that are darkness, so that souls can learn, can improve. That's the whole goal. That's why I say we're always supported, even in darkness. When darkness is exposed, it's a lesson for the person who did the darkness, and it's a lesson for the people who may be contemplating darkness, and it's a lesson for people to see how things work. That's how it works. It's a lesson all the time, every time. It's best to see a lesson from afar than be the lesson. Don't be the lesson. Oh Lord, being the lesson is not fun because you have to experience the pain. But if you look at other people, if you pay attention, if you care enough about yourself and you care enough about others, and you know that others are there to support you in every single way possible, because every soul is there to support you in every way possible. The way the universe is set up, the way the Creator has set it up, you cannot escape this fact. This truth is, all souls are present for your betterment. Whether you see someone doing something that they shouldn't be doing, or you see someone doing something that you should be doing. If you see someone living in love, that is a lesson to you to say, hey, look, this is how it's done. If you see someone living outside of love, it's a message and a lesson to you saying, hey, this is how it's not done. So there's no reason why anybody should be off course. There's no reason why anybody should be off course. Because every day a lesson is being given to you. But you have to be willing to see it. As I have decided, and once I learned that, hey, look, this is the way it goes, I started paying attention. I'm like, okay, I see if someone's stealing and someone is experiencing loss because of it, that's something that we shouldn't do. We should not do this. So I learned, don't do that. So I learned, don't lie. I learned not to take anything from anyone. I learned not to use someone for my own gain. I learned not to use someone for my own selfish pleasures. I learned all these different things. There's so many things that I learned. I just learned to maintain my integrity. I learned to live in love. I learned to teach by example. We're all teaching by example. Whether you're murdering someone, raping someone, you're helping someone out, unlovingly or lovingly, we're all teaching. There's not ever a time when we're not teaching. Even if someone isolates, even if you're isolating, you're teaching people what not to do. Because they see your depression, they see how you're disconnected, they see the sadness, they see the vulnerability. Every time I see someone who's depressed, I'm like, well, I certainly don't want to go there. Anytime I see someone isolated and say, well, I certainly don't want to go there. Anytime I see someone who's overly, what would be the word? Overly excited, because there is a such thing as overly excited, meaning you're pretending to be excited when you're really not. You're presenting a facade as everything is okay, everything is great, life is fabulous. Meanwhile, it's falling apart. In real life, it's falling apart. But the facade is something completely different. I learned not to do that. I learned how that can send you down a true spiral. You don't want that. Because then, if you're presenting a facade and you're spiraling out of control behind the scenes, it disallows you from asking for help, because you're presenting this facade that you don't need help, that everything is okay. Look, people, the universe is responding, it's supporting us. Ooh, this doesn't look good at all. This doesn't look good at all. I don't even know if I can get in here. This is messy. This is so messy. I don't think I can get in there. So, you know, the universe is giving us lessons, it's showing us how, but we just have to desire to be a part of that. Whatever God has put in place for us to better ourselves, we have to be in alignment with that. And when I say be in alignment with it, we have to desire that that's something that we want to do. We want to live in the path, or we want to live in the energy that the Creator has set for us. We want to merge, because it's not a quick just like that. It doesn't just happen like that. It's a merging process. There are many lanes, I should say. Many lanes. It's like we're living life on this highway where there are many, many, many lanes. Hundreds and thousands of lanes. And we are slowly merging one lane at a time. One lane at a time. One lane at a time. We're moving forward all the time. We're moving forward all the time. We're not moving back, we're moving forward. And so as picture it like you're driving a car, we're moving forward just like here. And I can go over to the right and to the median, to the shoulder there, and experience all the crap that's in it, all the nails, all the bolts, all the rocks, all the dirt, all the whatever. I can scrape my car on the rails there, and that's an experience. So if my soul degrades, I veer off to the right. As my soul increases in love, it veers off to the left, where the road is more smooth, it's more appealing, it's more enjoyable. The experience is much more serene, much more calm, much more at ease. That's how we have to look at life. We're always moving forward. Always. And so just like yesterday when I don't know what my phone is doing. I don't know if they did something to Google Maps. They're talking about, oh, there's an object in the road ahead. I come up to the object, it's a dead possum. I'm like, okay, Google. Google doing a lot right now, you know. Anyway, you know, we're still moving forward, you know, and we have to understand that this is the way it works. And so as you get on board with truth, meaning not just getting on board with it, but have a desire for it. Have a desire, have a willingness to be a part of something better and greater. Not because anybody else says so, not because other people are going to look upon you and say, oh wow, good job. When you do it for those reasons, you're not doing it at all. That's not a soul change. A soul change is when you do it for yourself. A soul change doesn't happen when you do it for other people. That is the mind at play. The mind is at play when we do that. Hold on a second. I don't know where it is, but I do know this coffee's here. 1 second. That felt so good, even though my face, I can't believe I didn't shave. I knew something was going on, but my hair doesn't grow that fast, so it's not that bad. But it'd probably be different if I were white, but since I'm caramel brown, you don't see it as much. Anyway, so yeah, the universe is supporting us at all times, and it's such a beautiful feeling to know this. This is what keeps me going on a daily basis. This is what keeps me on track to know these little cars really try to do things out here. It's a very comforting feeling to know that my life is not dependent upon people around me at all. It's dependent upon me. And when I first learned this, I didn't understand it because I was still looking at it from the perspective of people. I was still looking at it from the perspective of me and other people. Like my life was still dependent upon others. If they like me, if they approve of me, you know, what does society look at as great, you know? Because like even like I have a new director, and her thing is, I don't want to say her thing, but what she oftentimes says is that because I don't have I'm not a therapist, and so I don't have a degree to support therapy, but the things that I know far surpass what a therapist knows, and oftentimes far surpasses what the psychiatrists and psychologists know, because they don't understand the soul. They understand symptoms, they understand the effects of the soul, because that's what they're dealing with. They're dealing with behaviors. That's all they can measure, is something that they can see, and they can see a behavior. But what I truly understand is why the behaviors are present on a soul level. From God's creation, from that level, I have an understanding. So it really blows people's mind when I talk about things and have an understanding, and I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist. And so her thing is, look, it doesn't matter what degree you have or what you don't have, but if you have valuable information, it's your responsibility to speak that, and it's also your responsibility to hear that. So because a lot of people are dismissive, especially of me, because I don't have the degree to support, or I don't have their degree, and so I'm not a therapist, I'm not a licensed, you know, whatever, and I have a better understanding as to what's going on with their clients than they do. And that's frustrating. I understand that is really frustrating when you go to school and you spend thousands of dollars to be an expert in something just to realize someone who didn't do that has a better understanding than you do and they're not in debt. It's really frustrating when you try to do something and someone does it better than you or they have a better understanding than you do. That's frustrating. Because people want to be the best at something, and therein lies the problem. They want to be the best in something. Better than. Because if you're better than, if you have a desire to be better than, that requires someone else to be less than. And that is an unloving desire. But people don't see that because our society is based on things that are unloving. So that is okay in their eyes. But in the universe's eyes, it's not. This is why I say, these universal laws trump any law, any rule, any understanding, anything that man could ever come up with. It trumps it. It was here before man. Therefore, it trumps it. Not because I say so, not because anybody else says so, but because that's the fact. That's the truth. That's just the way that it is. There are some things that we have to accept. There are certain things that I have come to accept that I don't fully understand, but I know that's just the way that it is. I didn't make up the law of attraction. This is something that was in place before it even had a name. But that's the name that it was given. But despite what we call it, whether you call it in English or call it that in Spanish or in German, whatever you call it, whatever words come, whatever vibration comes out of your mouth and through your lips, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. All things within the universe is what it is. What we call it is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Many things share the same name, but they're completely different things. It doesn't matter what you call it. What matters is what it is in the moment. What is that? What is this? This is how it works. I don't know what we call it. Because before it had it, we called it the law of attraction. I'm sure some kind of Indian somewhere called it something else. I'm sure the Egyptians called it something else. This is why I say it doesn't matter our perspective about things. What matters is what is. What is. Love is already established. Truth is already established. Understanding is already established. We just have to be in alignment with it. We have to be on board with it. If the universe is supporting us, doesn't it make sense to get on board with the universe? If the universe is operating in love, and we're conscious, aware beings, and we see that the universe is operating in love, then it's our responsibility to ourselves and others to get on board with the universe. Because the universe is proving to us what is right and what is wrong, what is accepted and what isn't. I don't know what's going on here. This is what's important. These things are important. Why? Because it's how we improve our lives. It's how we improve our circumstances. We have to get away. I have gotten away from the way of the world. Not completely, because there are some things that I'm not even aware of yet. But there are certain things that I am aware of, and I had to make a change. I had to stop depending on people. But I still have to learn to accept help from people, because accepting help is something that is very difficult for me to do. I'm a lone ranger. I'm not the type. I wasn't raised to accept help. I was raised to do everything on my own. And the only reason why I was raised that way is because my mother had to do everything on her own. Being a single mother, she had to do it all on her own. She couldn't ask for help. There were many times where she had to work and I was the babysitter. I was a 16-year-old babysitter for my little brother. I had to do it on my own. This is what she had to do. So this is what I have to do. But one of the things that I know I need to work on is accepting help. Like, I'm not supposed to say anything. I won't say anything, but I'll say it afterwards maybe. But, there are certain things that I'm not comfortable with because it hasn't been a part of my life, and I understand why, but that doesn't change the fact that this is how I was raised for many, many years. And even after my mother died, I continue to sustain the teachings that I was taught. This is the issue. But as I consciously recognize it, it gives me the ability to consciously rectify it, to consciously be aware and make the change within my soul so that I can improve my life, so that I can improve my soul condition, so I can improve my experiences, so I can change my circumstances, transform my being into something else, so that it automatically attracts something else. And it has been happening. I have abandoned a great deal of unloving teachings that my mother has instilled within me. And I understand that she didn't do it out of malice. She did it because she didn't know any better. But her son, myself, me, I do know better. I am learning to do things in a more loving way. I'm understanding her, which helps me understand myself, which gives me the power to transform. But in order for this transformation to happen, I had to abandon that which was instilled within me. I had to abandon the rules. I had to abandon the teachings that from my family, whether it was my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my brothers, my sisters. I had to recognize that which dwells with me comes from those who surrounded me growing up. And those things that were instilled within me that caused me to have these painful experiences, I needed to let go of. Some people want to hang on to the teachings of those who surrounded them because it's their way of holding on to them. Understand, when you hold on to them, you hold on to all the things that come with it. All the events that are generated by that which you're holding on to. The best thing you can do is abandon people who are unloving to you. Abandon the ways. Abandon the ways is what I mean. Not abandon them, but abandon the ways that they have taught you. You don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't steal. There's something where, family will stick up for another family member. They will protect them. But what they're really saying is, if you do something wrong, I will lie for you. If you get caught with the law, I will defend you, even though I know you are wrong. Because you are my son, because you are my daughter, because you are my cousin, because you are my family member. These things are not supporting the soul. Because these are the things that the universe does not support. This is why you get on board with the universe and that which it supports. It supports the soul, but in a way that is loving, that is truly supportive, that is transformative. That's what the universe does. It transforms, or I should say, it allows the soul to transform. You know what? I'm not dealing with you because you tried that bullshit way back there. Angry little woman. So understand the universe and how it functions, because if you can understand that and you're like, whoa, okay, I see it. Because look, at the end of the day, people, I don't know if I'm supposed to go left or right, but I'm just gonna go right. Let's keep going straight. What was I gonna say? I don't know what that is. Maybe it's changing routes. La la la, la la. There we go. So, oh my gosh, people think I'm such an asshole. About abandoning family. We're not abandoning family. What we're doing is abandoning the unloving things that
There's a disabled vehicle ahead.
Oh, that explains it. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was my potato chips. Well, it fell nicely. I can say that. It fell right side up. They say, about abandoning family. People have a real issue with this. Abandoning family. You don't abandon family. But it's not family you're abandoning. It's just this illusion of family really needs to be revisited by humanity, because by holding on to family members and sticking together, you maintain and sustain that which you don't like. When your family members belittle you, when they abuse you, when they take advantage of you, they lie to you, they trick you, they just treat you unlovingly, they have absolutely no regard, meaning they treat you with disregard, You know, these are all things that are painful. And when you stay in situations like this, you sustain that in your life. So it's not about abandoning friends and abandoning family. What you are deciding to do is abandon that which harms you. You're abandoning that which harms you. You're saying, I no longer want any part in this. If you have a husband and this person is always wanting sex when you don't want it and doesn't care whether or not you want it and takes it anyway, and you stay day after day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and you feel so small and you feel helpless, you're not abandoning your family. You're not abandoning your marriage. What you're abandoning is the pain. What you're abandoning is the unloving behavior, the unloving intent, the degraded soul. That's what you're running away from. And it's not even running away from it. You're just deciding, I want more than this. I want better. I want my son or my daughter who sees this mistreatment to have a better experience. I don't want my son or daughter to grow up thinking that this is okay. I don't want my son to become a womanizer, and I don't want my daughter to become a victim. I don't want my son to become a victim. Because sometimes there are women who are completely out of control, just as men are out of control. They like to lie, they like to beat, they like to cheat, they like to do all kinds of things, same things as men do. Because some men won't do anything to protect themselves, so they stand there a victim while the woman becomes the aggressor. And so you can teach your daughter to become a person who doesn't respect anybody and feels that it's okay to lie and abuse and cheat and steal from a man. It goes both ways. It doesn't matter what your sex is. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. All that stuff is irrelevant. But what is relevant is a condition of your soul. Unloving comes in many forms. Because all souls have a different jacket. Some souls wear a black jacket. Some souls wear a Latino jacket. Some souls wear an Asian jacket. Some souls wear a jacket with penises. Some souls wear a jacket with breasts. It doesn't matter. It's the soul that's the most important thing ever. All the time, every time. So as we focus on the jackets, we don't look at who's actually wearing it. You know what I mean? I always look at the soul condition of a person. I don't look at what they're wearing. I don't look at, because look, trust me, people. You can see a well-dressed woman and a well-dressed man, but they fucking stink. I've run into them. They look amazing, makeup flawless, suit on point, but they fucking stink. I'm like, did you forget to put on deodorant? Do you not believe that? Do you not believe in it? Did you not shower? You know, there are people like that. There are people like that who, they present well, but you get close and you see and you smell, you notice, you recognize, you become conscious and aware of the truth that lies under what they're trying to present to you. They try to present, oh, I'm very well maintained. But when you get closer, you realize they're not maintained at all. There's a lack of love for self, of self. It happens all the time. I mean, there's someone at work, I can't say any names, but there's someone at work who always stinks. They smell very bad. They don't take care of themselves, but they have a sunny disposition. Oh, they're so nice and kind and sweet and caring. But they stink. They don't take care of themselves is my point. My point is, they present one way, but something else is going on. Something sinister is underneath. And they try to cover it up with the sunny disposition. And they try to cover it up with the beautiful summer dress. And they try to cover it up with a three-piece suit. But when you get close, when you truly, truly recognize and look at the person and you understand the person, you will notice that what they're presenting isn't true, isn't real. That's a facade. I know the truth. The truth is you don't care about yourself or anybody else. One, you don't care about yourself because you're allowing yourself to be in such a place. And two, you don't care that it affects anybody else around you. Understand, people, if you don't care about yourself, there's no possible way you can care about other people. It's not coming from love. You can speak truth. I can speak truth all day long. I can make videos all day long. But if I don't live the truth, I'm not helping anybody, because they're going to see through it. This is why I put my stuff out there. I say, hey, look, this is what I'm going through. This is my law of attraction. Yes, I talk about truth. Yes, I talk about all these different things. Yes, I talk about love. Yes, I talk about integrity. But if I don't show it, you're going to see right through it. So I have to be upfront and honest with you, because I have to be upfront and honest with myself. I have to be able to look at myself and say, hey, Zach, this is where I need to work on. This is where I need to work, or this is what I need to work on. This is what I need to work at. Every time I make a video and I say things about myself, if this man does not get away from me, asking me every fucking day about some damn money, and he is not doing shit for himself, like he's starting to get on my nerves. So, you know, it's like, if I, even that, I recognize, as I was saying it, that is not coming from a loving place. Why am I so frustrated with him? Because there's a certain, when people come up to me and ask for money, it's like, nah, I can't do it, right? But I wish I could, but I know I can't. And it's what I said earlier about I was taught to do things that are unloving, but I have to check those things, and I have to prevent myself from doing it. Because on a soul level, I understand to help people, help people, help people. That's what I understand. But on a soul level, I don't fully understand when to do it and when not to do it. But my mind understands it. It's a catching of it. It's an after effect. I have to, an afterthought, I should say. So when something happens like that, when someone approaches me for money, I have to look at the situation. Number one, can I afford it? Because that's the first thing I need to ask myself. Do I have the funds to give away? If I'm in debt, no, I don't have the funds to give away, because I'm in a position where I owe other people. So how can I give money to someone else when I owe other people still? That's how I have to look at it, because that's the truth. Because the longer I take to pay someone back, that's how much longer it takes for them to get what I said I would give them back. Because when you have credit card debt or any debt, when you owe anybody any money, you owe them. So what is it? So let's say I have $100. Excuse me. Let's say I have $100 and I owe someone $200, and the other people want their money back. How does it look for me to give money to someone else when I owe someone else? I don't have it to give. And so this is one of the reasons why I don't go helping people all the time anymore, because I don't have it to give. As long as I have credit card debt, as long as I am in debt, I cannot help anybody. That's the first thing, because self first, people. The second, I cannot help someone when they're in a place where they're not helping themselves, because that means I'm sustaining. Like if I were to give that man money, I'm sustaining him being homeless out there on the street. Now, he may be okay with that. I'm not okay with that, because I know that is not the best that he can be. I know he's in a dark place. He doesn't even have a roof over his head. Maybe, maybe not. He could have a roof over his head, and this is what he wants to do with his life. That's fine, but I don't sustain mediocrity. I can understand if someone is truly hungry. You can tell when someone just needs food, and you're like, okay, but you have to understand the reason why you're doing that. You have to understand the intent behind it. Are you giving something or helping someone with something because you feel bad? Because if you feel bad, that is the absolute worst reason to do it. You don't want to stop someone suffering because you feel uncomfortable. And that's what happens back there when people ask me for money and they're standing on the side of the street or standing in front of a restaurant. Can you help me out? If I feel bad for them, I can't do it, because that's the wrong reason to do it. Oh, the little dog there. I hope this thing is recording. I can't see anything on it. This little dog's looking for food. I don't have anything, little dog. I don't have anything. I don't know where he is now. Where the hell did he go? Where is he? Oh, there he is. I didn't want to run over him. He's on the sidewalk now. You know, this is, I'm in the hood. The people around here struggle all the time. That poor little dog is looking for food. Is probably hungry. Because people are struggling. They can barely feed themselves. Barely feed the dog. You know, the dog, your dog is, my dog is a reflection of my soul condition. Bella, my husky, is a reflection of my soul condition. So every day when I look at her, something's wrong with her, something's wrong with me. That's just the way that it works. That's the way that it works. Some dogs die of cancer. There's a reason why for that. There's a reason why. Because animals they don't have souls like the human soul. I'm not going to say they don't have souls, but they don't have human souls. They reflect. Animals reflect our condition. They reflect who we are. So when you see a raggedy ass dog, that's because it has attached to a person who has a raggedy ass soul. Your dog has a lot of complications. There's a reason for that. It's a reflection of someone's soul. Maybe you inherited a dog with some problems, and now the dog's better because now it's reflecting your soul condition and not the other soul condition. Maybe the dog was okay and now the dog is doing worse or doing badly with you. That's because your soul condition is now a reflection, is now reflecting within that dog. It's how it happens. It's soul transference. We reflect, we reflect ourselves in people, and dogs reflect us. It's a mirror. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, people. Anyway, I'm done with this video. Understand that the universe supports you in everything that happens. I had mentioned the 27. Sometimes I get stuck at a red light, and I'm like, ugh. Then I look over and there's a 27. What does that mean? It means that the universe is supporting me. And so it means that I have to be okay. I have to come to terms. I have to accept things that happen in order for me to get the message, because it is more important for me to get the message that I am supported by the universe. I'm supported by the Creator. There are other forces and energies that are supporting me. It's more important to know that than it is to make a light. And so we have to look at these things and understand that everything is happening for a reason. But if we don't understand that everything is happening for a reason, what happens is we get angry, we get caught up. We don't see the lesson, we don't see the support, and therefore we don't feel supported, and therefore we get frustrated and angry and feel alone. And that's not what the universe is trying to do. The universe is trying to say, hey, you're not alone. You are supported. I got your back. Pay attention. I'm here to help you. Whether it's through someone I send to you, someone you stumble upon that I send to you, an experience that I send to you, the universe is always doing something. Sometimes I think about, the time I got fired from my job. Fired from my job just to be hired at the same program where there was only a dozen in the whole state through complete strangers. The universe says, I have your back. And the only reason why is because I maintain my integrity. Someone fired me because they felt a certain way, not because I did anything to cause them to. They felt a certain way. And so they had the power to do whatever they wanted to do, and fire me was one of them. And when I remember when I left, I sat at the table, you get your final paycheck and all that stuff. And then I thanked them. I said, you know what? I thank you for the opportunity. I just, I'm not. And the person who fired me started breaking down in tears. Because that person knew that what they were doing or what they did was wrong. In their own emotions and feelings, they did something that was hurtful to me, and I didn't deserve it. And the universe had my back. Number one, it showed me that the universe is in play, it's in motion, because the person who fired me actually was hired by the person who fired her, which is why she ended up in my city. I didn't know this man, and I didn't know the people who got me the job. To me, they were strangers, but they were friends of the universe. The universe knew exactly who to put in my path. And the thing is, The universe put someone in my path months before I was fired, who actually knew someone who had the same the CEO who had the same program that I was fired from, and was also employing the person who fired the lady who fired me. The universe is always in support of us. Always. And we will reap the benefits of that support if we always live in truth and love and integrity. Because I wasn't pissed off for being fired, because I accepted what had happened, I understood what was happening on some level or another, and I was like, okay, I get it. It's my time to go. There's nothing I can do about it. You know, this isn't my agency. It's not my program. I don't have the final say. I don't have the final word. It's time to go. But I enjoyed my time when I worked there. I enjoyed it. And I learned a lot from it. And I thank the people who allowed me to stay there for the 1.5 years that I was there. Because I did learn a lot. Everything that I learned from them prepped me for the new job when I was hired less than a month later here in Los Angeles. I worked for a program called AB 2034, which is a mental health specialty program, an intense mental health program. I helped build that program from the bottom when it first started, and we had no clients. We were putting desks together and creating medical records and doing all these different things. So I knew the program inside and out. And then I get a job working for that same program that I completely understood. Completely understood. From inside out, I knew it. And I was able to bring elements to that program that they didn't even have in place, that they were supposed to have in place. So I was of significant value. I didn't know that was going to happen. I did not know, but it happened. You just have to trust the universe, trust yourself, understand whatever you learn, whatever you know, whatever you have right now, it is going to benefit you in the long run. Later, it can benefit you. It doesn't matter if you're a massage therapist. It doesn't matter if you worked at fast food. It doesn't matter if you did customer service. Look, whatever path you have been on and experiences you have experienced, it works for you in your favor. But you have to have confidence, not with a desire to say I'm worth something or everything that I know can benefit me, because sometimes you learn things that won't benefit you in the moment, but it will benefit you at another time, somewhere down the line. But you have to understand that you have to live in love. You can't be an angry, miserable person and expect the universe to support you in ways that you're going to benefit from. I mean, you're always going to benefit from it, but in ways that you perceive as benefit, because most people only perceive good things as benefit. But misery is also a benefit, because it's showing you something that you don't want to experience, and when other people experience it, it shows you what it looks like when you do experience it. Again, the universe is always supporting you. Always. All right, everybody. That's it for me. Come on, we got a green arrow. Come on, lady. You got glasses. You should see 4 times better than I. So, enjoy your Wednesday. I made a video yesterday, but I didn't upload it, so I'll try to get to that today. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great time, living life, and you can always make it better by choosing it. But you have to let go of all the things that are preventing that from happening now. That's for sure. That's fact. You cannot improve your life by holding on to the same things you've been holding on to. If you want change, you have to change. And one of the biggest things to change, one of the hardest things to change, one of the most difficult things to change is letting go of people. That's the hardest thing you'll ever do, is letting go of people. Because they sustain who you are. And most people who are in fear, they want to stay where they are. Because the alternative is to have no one. And that means you'll experience your fear of being alone, being vulnerable. But those are the things you have to experience. You have to feel that in order to understand that you're not alone. In order to understand that you don't need people. People will come and support you, but generally come to support you when you don't depend on it, when you don't need it. Because the universe is saying, it's my mandate by the Creator to create, to morph, to mold a soul that is independent and is not dependent upon anyone other than the Creator. So I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to help you understand that you don't need anyone else other than the Creator. And no one else can give you anything other than the Creator and sustain it. Man cannot sustain you. Man will, in this current condition, ooh, look, another 27. Just like that. Just like that, another 27. The universe is saying, I am going to attempt to morph and mold and guide this soul to become an independent soul, to understand that this, to help this soul understand that they have the power to create anything and everything that they desire. That is the universe's mandate, and it tries to do it all the time. But when you work against it and you hold on to these people who abuse you, who teach you how to live in unloving ways, who disregard you, who use you and do all kinds of things to you, as long as that's happening, you're blocking the blessing. And yet at the same time, you're accepting the blessing in a different way. Because you're accepting to learn through pain and instead of accepting to learn through love. Some people learn through love, some people learn through pain. It's their own personal choice how they want to learn, and that's okay. They have that right. They have that right. You have that right. And it's all up to you how you want to do it. It's all up to you. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Bye now.